friends, welcome to Bookish Bliss, our virtual book club. Every week we will dig into a section of chapters in our favorite books. Let's get started.
Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 13 of Bookish Bliss. We have a lot to discuss today.
Yes, this week we'll be discussing our final thoughts of A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. There will be spoilers since we are discussing our favorite and least favorite things from the entire book. So you do have to read the whole book to listen. Amanda, how are we here already, and what are you drinking tonight?
I have no idea how we're here already. I feel like we're in a time warp.
Yes.
But I'm actually not drinking alcohol tonight. I'm going to have a LaCroix because it's rainy and gross and I don't feel like going to get wine. What are you drinking tonight?
I also am not drinking tonight.
Wow.
It's like we knew, but I have the sniffles and my voice is a little weird tonight, so please bear with me. But I will be drinking, I was going to do tea, but I wanted something cold and refreshing, so I have a polar seltzer, but mine is a blackberry mango.
We both have seltzer?
I know.
Seltzer
I do have a Diet Coke sitting over here as well, too, but this is my official drink.
That's good. I gave up soda, and I'm sad about it, but it's okay.
I just needed some more caffeine, so I'm going to open this up. And
before that, I want to show everybody my shirt.
Oh, yes. Look at your Velar shirt. Turn around. Show them the back.
Okay.
It says, "To the stars that listen and to the dreams that are answered." ACOMAF is newest, biggest fan.
Yes, and Valaris.
Amanda DaCosta.
Yes. That would be me. I am her.
I'm so mad I couldn't find my Bat Boy shirt because I could have worn it tonight, but I don't know where it is.
It's okay.
Find it
I'm sure.
Eventually.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get more merch as we go on.
I do have darker colors on tonight, so I feel more night court. All right, let's cheers, darling.
Yes, let's cheers.
I love you.
I love you. Cheers to the final thoughts of ACOMAF.
Cheers to our second book being done.
Wow, cheers.
Cheers. So
refreshing.
Delicious. Yeah.
All right. Now let's get started with the good stuff and discuss our final thoughts. Over to you, Meg. Please tell us your final rating for ACOMAF.
5 stars. 10 stars. Obsessed, obsessed, obsessed. I need everyone to know about this book. Anyone I meet on the street needs to hear about it. I rated it 5 stars the first time I read it. And I think I've told Amanda this, but I don't think I've told this on camera yet, that when I finished ACOMAF, I threw it down because I was like, holy shit, and immediately went and grabbed the third book. Just threw it gently because obsessed with this child of mine.
Gently.
And grabbed the third book.
Yes.
So, yes, I am obsessed.
Favorite book of all time, right?
Favorite book of all time. Book of all time. I think it's because I just never saw half of this stuff that happens coming.
Yeah.
And I don't know if other people did, but I was so mind blown how she set everything up. Like the entire first book of ACOTAR is basically just to set up chapter 54 in ACOMAF. Yeah. And I was like, holy shit.
Also, those of you that are drinking watching this episode, every time we say chapter 54, you have to take a sip because it's going to be a lot, okay?
Oh, that's a good game to play. We'll play it when we listen to it back.
Yes.
And we'll play since we're not drinking tonight.
Yeah. For all our drinkers out there, we still love you.
Yes. We want you to be drinking the wine even if we cannot.
Yes. Indeed.
Indeed. Amanda,
all right.
What was your rating for ACOMAF?
So I also gave it 5 stars. I loved it. I liked it better than ACOTAR. I was hooked. Maybe not from page 1, but from chapter 4. Is that when Rhysand goes in to the wedding?
I'm pretty sure it's
chapter 4 or 5. After that, hooked.
Yeah.
It was action-packed. There was always something going on. Even when you're learning about the world building, the stories, the character building, it's all so nuts.
Yeah.
Sad at times, but nuts.
Yes, and everything just has a purpose. Like, you're
Yes.
learning about it at that time for some reason.
Yeah.
And it's just so genius.
Yeah, for sure.
It's definitely
I love it.
the best book in, I think, the series. I think there will be some people who might say this one is a close second, I would think. But yeah.
Well, if I had to rate them so far, I would definitely say ACOMAF's number 1 and ACOTAR's number 2.
Yeah, so we'll ask you at the end of all of them what your favorite is.
Yeah. Although I have to say, it is not my favorite book of all time.
I know what your favorite book of all time is.
I know you know.
And I think it's because you read it first. Like,
I think so.
I think I also like the book that's your favorite book of all time, but I just fell in love with someone first before I fell in love with those characters. Don't get me wrong, I love those characters, and we're talking about Fourth Wing. But
Rebecca Yarros, Fourth Wing, my favorite book of all time.
I fell in love with Rhysand before I fell in love with Xaden. And I think you fell in love with Xaden before you fell in love with Rhysand. So I think that's where the differences lie.
Definitely. And I can see that for sure because he was my first love. Nobody will ever replace him. But
it was your first romantasy love, and no one can
my
take
first
that away
fictional
from
boyfriend.
Yes. Oh my God, that would be such a good thing to talk about at some other time, who our favorite book boyfriends are of all time, because I think I would have a difficult time deciding who my top 5 book boyfriends are.
Yeah, you would need like a roster.
I would need like top 10, and
Damn,
then maybe 10 by year of when I read the book.
Holy shit!
Apparently, I only have easily.
1, maybe 2. Rhysand's my second, I would say. So 2.
Yeah. I mean, between the entire Inner Circle bad boys, I'm like,
I know.
Dang.
Azriel, Cassian, yes. I don't know much about them yet. I know you know more than me, so maybe they'll make my roster eventually.
Oh, I can't wait for you to join that club.
Yes. All right, Megan, let's move on. Tell us who your favorite character is in ACOMAF, even though we already all know who it is.
Obviously, my favorite character in ACOMAF is Rhysand, the High Lord of the Night Court.
Yes.
He is my all-time favorite book boyfriend, the love of my life. No one can ever replace him.
Your soulmate.
He is my soulmate. He does make me angry in some other books, but I still love him anyways. It's just an unconditional love at this point. And none of us are perfect. We all make mistakes, and hopefully he can redeem himself in some way, and for the reasons I'm angry about, which I can't talk about because none of you know what I'm talking about, and Amanda has no idea. But I also want to shout out Cassian in this book, who also is on my shit list right now. But also in this book specifically, I really like the relationship that he builds with Feyre. He really has her back. He's training her how to fight and defend herself, but is also there, a listening ear, just especially in that ring where she's just punching and punching.
Yeah.
And she burns through those mitts, and he's ready to just take that hit against his skin if she needs it. And how Feyre knows at the end of the day, Cassie would never let Rhys treat her badly like Lucian let Tamlin treat her.
Right.
So I have to shout out Cassian as well. Who was your favorite character?
So I also had Rhysand, but besides the obvious, I picked more because, number one, her story, I think out of all of the characters, touched me the most, like her backstory. It was sad, but also I love that she was the most powerful girl in her family. And I love that she is Feyre's ride or die now, and they're besties. And she had her back during that whole Feyre finding out that Rhysand is her mate and not telling her scene. So
yeah, she's a girl's girl.
Yeah, she's a total girl's girl, and I love that she even paints with Feyre in the cabin. So I have to go with more. Yeah,
she's like, you want to be sad and sit here and paint the walls, then I'm gonna fucking paint the walls with you because I've got your back.
Yes, and I also love that even though Cassian and Azriel show some tension there with her, that she's like, no.
Yeah, she's got total girl power.
Exactly, yeah.
If the Spice Girls existed in their world, she would totally be like, girl power, and spice up your life.
Yeah.
Dancing around the club.
And Amryn would be Scary Spice.
Yes, and Feyre is Posh Spice. No, that's Nesta, who's unbothered.
Yeah.
And then Elaine is Baby Spice.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Feyre is a Spice Girl.
She's not a Spice Girl.
She's like the group's coordinator. She's like
She's
their
like
manager.
the one that would have went solo if one of them went solo. Who is your least favorite character? Even though we already, again, know.
The High Lord of the Spring Court, Tamlin, is my least favorite character. Amanda?
Yes, I totally understand. But tell us your reasons why.
He's a little bitch. He sucks. He
Yep.
abuses women. He abuses his friends. He abuses his power. He treats his people badly. He locks people in houses. He made Alice sad.
Yeah.
He is arrogant. He is cohorting with a enemy king to steal Feyre back.
Wild.
Delusional.
Delusional.
Treats Feyre like she's a child, speaks to her like she's a child, speaks to Lucian like he's a child, is up Ianthe's ass for whatever reason. Should I keep going?
No. I'm just kidding.
Oh, and I hate Ianthe.
Yes. I hate Ianthe too. But yeah, very reasonable.
Yeah, like I just it's so great to finally be able to let it out and tell our entire podcast that I hated him the whole time.
Yes. Not 1 second passed where Megan thought Tamlin was a good guy.
I was basically Feyre, who now is going to be undercover in the Spring Court, pretending to like Tamlin during our ACOTAR episodes.
Yeah, you were.
Yes.
You literally were.
I was undercover.
That's so funny.
Amanda, who was your least favorite character and why?
So, Tamlin also, for every reason you listed.
Yeah. Should you
But
list them
also-
again? I think we should know them. Just kidding.
You want to go through them again?
Yes.
No, just kidding. But also, Lucian, which is sad for me because he was my favorite character in ACOTAR, but
He really disappointed you this time.
I just fucking hate an enabler. I hate an enabler, and I hate people that make other people feel dumb or not heard. And I feel like that whole scene where they're in the Illyrian woods and he comes to find Feyre. And I get there's this whole like blah blah, Rhysand's bad and nobody knows about Valeris, but she literally was saying to you that you let her down.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't even say anything to her besides, come with me, it's okay.
Yeah,
Your brain's fucked up.
Said we all made mistakes. He couldn't even apologize.
Yeah,
for what
and he's
did.
blaming her for making a mistake, but she didn't make a mistake. What mistake did she make?
She made 0 mistakes.
Zero.
0.
Her mistake was trusting Tamlin. That's the mistake she made. And Lucian.
The only redeeming thing about Lucian in these chapters is he does look and act physically sick when they are in Highburn at the end. You know that wasn't his idea at all. You know he didn't probably even want to be there. From the second they walked in, he was like, oh my God, Tamlin, stop. Enough.
Yeah.
He knew right away, we need to stop this. But
Then why didn't he? Why didn't he?
Well, because he's not going to be able to stop Tamlin, and I think the only reason why he was there is, I don't want to say it's to back Tamlin up. I think it's because he wanted to make sure that everyone was okay leaving Highburn. I think his blind loyalty to Tamlin isn't really there to like back him up about what he's doing, but to make sure he gets out of there alive.
Yeah.
And because he didn't actually once go for Feyre or try to convince her. Like, he was like, okay, enough, Tamlin, stop, the whole time, trying to stop the king. And I think that's the only redeeming part about Lucian in this book, I guess, is he did try to stop the sisters from going into the cauldron. But I mean, so did Tamlin, so I don't know. It's tough.
He broke my heart.
Yeah.
And I get that with the sister. Also, like, fucking weird that he is Elaine's mate.
I know.
Like, what? How weird is it that I guessed that it would be Nesta and now it's fucking Elaine?
I know.
Weird.
You were on the right path, but I did see that interview, and I was telling you about it before with Sarah J. Maas, where I think she said she originally saw Lucian and Nesta being together, but then when she started writing it, like it just didn't make any sense at all. So it's interesting that she switched the sisters, and maybe it has a point because we know Sarah does everything for a reason. If she was originally thinking it would have been one sister, maybe there's a reason why it is Elaine now. I guess we'll find out. I mean, I still don't know, and I've read all of the books.
Yeah. It's going to be so crazy, the dynamic, because are they going to stay with Feyre no matter what? Or is she going to stay with Lucien? Don't tell me.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Because a lot is happening and a lot still has to happen. But there's still, I can say without spoiling anything, really, it's not a spoiler. Nothing has been decided even after this book. So.
Wow. That's wild.
Yeah.
If you think about it, actually.
I know.
5 fucking books and we still don't know shit?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Sarah. Thank God she posted that she's freaking writing the next one.
What?
What?
I need to know what the name of that book is. And then once we know the title of it, maybe we'll have some hints about whose point of view it's going to be from.
I know.
Because you don't even know who Silver Flames' point of view is yet.
No. And I want to guess. I'm going to guess before, but I just don't know yet.
Okay.
After ACOMAF War, the next one, I'll make a guess, but I gotta read it first.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so what did you like the most about this book, Megan, besides Rhysand and chapter 54?
Okay, so I have a few favorite parts in this book, and they're all like action sequences. So my first is her being a total badass and realizing how she actually has the power and she thinks she says she's a wolf when she is going into the Weaver's cottage, and just her epic escape from that. Like, that entire scene is just so fascinating for me because it just kept me on edge the whole time, the first time I read it and reading it this time. I really liked the scene where she kills the Ator and she's killing the Highburn soldiers, and then she makes water wolves.
Oh my God, yes. That is so fucking cool.
It reminded me of when she said she was a wolf going into the Weaver's cottage, and now she's making these water wolves to kill their enemies.
She makes flying ones too to get the air. Does she make eagles?
Yeah,
I want to say eagle, but
yes, falcons, something that
some
flies.
kind of bird. Yeah.
To drown them in the air.
That was fucking cool.
She is just so powerful and coming into her own. I obviously love these epic moments of Feyre. They always seem to be my favorite parts of any book. Like, I loved the Midgard worm and the bone throwing scene. So yeah, I just really loved the Weaver scene, and I really liked her creating those water wolves to save the rainbow in Valaris.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
She's the defender of the rainbow.
She's the defender of the rainbow, and just really is, I love that she comes into her own in that city and that she feels so a part of it. And I love that Rhysand, even though he's frantic to know where she is, gives her the respect of her decision to stay out there and fight for the city, and he doesn't try to distract her in any way.
Yeah, or even help her.
Out. Yeah.
Like, he just lets her go because he knows she's going to be good.
Yeah, he's fighting in another part to defend the city, and he has her back and knows that she is capable of fighting and defending the city, that part of the city, on her own. Yeah. And he doesn't have to worry about it.
I agree.
Loved it.
Yes, I love that scene.
Respect is just so sexy.
I know. It really is.
What did you like about this book?
I love that Rhysand is the one that stops the wedding. To go back to the beginning. I love the whole story of Feyre pretty much getting her own wedding ring from the Weaver, and how it was Rhysand's mom that told him that the girl that he wants to marry has to be strong enough and smart enough to get it. And it just makes me feel like Rhysand's mom is giving his acceptance to Feyre through this scene, you know? She's the one, Rhysand. I feel like she's telling him that. So I really like that scene. I love getting back to Feyre and her powers when she puts them all together and learns that she can have this power that none of them have. Because the whole time she's kind of talking like, oh, this power's from this court and this power's from this court. And then when she finally puts it together, she's like, this power is mine and nobody else has this power. And I felt like that was super cool too.
Chills.
Yeah. And chapter 54. How to throw that in there. Yeah. That's 2 sips for you that are drinking. Okay. Yes. We both said it. So, Megan, I know there's not a lot that you didn't like about this book, but tell us what your dislikes are.
The entire time we're in the spring court,
Yeah.
I just dislike it. Was happy to be out of there. I'm glad that we did all of part 1 in one episode so we could get out of there.
Oh, and that's what you did. I see you now.
Everything I do is strategic, Amanda.
I believe it.
Especially how I did 45 to 55 as a section was my favorite part. But yeah, no, I definitely looped in all of part 1, which was all of the spring court, because it's just my least favorite part of this whole book. I hate being in the spring court. I hate everybody basically in the spring court. So I was like, let's get this over and done with in one episode. And so, yeah, it's sad because I love flowers and I love the spring air. And yeah, Tamlin's really ruined that for me. Yeah,
for sure.
That's what
all the spring court scenes are what you disliked the most.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else that I really disliked. Yeah, I guess overall of my dislikes about the book, if I could do without something, it would be that entire first part. Unnecessary. Could have been 2 chapters and we could have been out of there.
Yeah.
What did you dislike the most?
So I definitely hated watching Feyre beat herself up about leaving Tamlin and feeling guilty for it. Mm-hmm. After everything he did to her, she still felt guilty. It's so relatable.
Yeah.
To everybody, literally.
Yeah, I think if you've ever gone through something or a relationship ending, you feel guilty and beat yourself up when
even though it's not your fault. Yeah, exactly. So I really hated that. I hated that whole scene with Lucien. Ugh. It's never going to leave my brain how mad I am at him. But even though she had the courage to stand up to him, and I love what she said back to him, don't ever fucking come back here, I will kill you.
Yeah.
But it just is so cringy that he was like practically gonna steal her. If Rhysand didn't end up showing up by her side, I feel like he would have tried to kidnap her, basically, or take her back, but
had no concerns over consent.
Yeah.
And that's why I love when Rhysand says to him, Lucy, didn't your mother teach you that when a woman says no, she means it?
Yes, I know. I love that too.
Yeah, and then we talked about that saying that I heard, no is a full sentence.
Yeah.
And yeah, Lucien and Tamlin apparently don't understand consent.
Yeah, no. And I hated that the inner circle stories were all so sad.
Yeah.
I know that they're better now and everybody's good and they have each other. Yeah. But I just hate that every single one was so sad. Every single one.
I know, but I think that's what brought them together in the first place.
I know. I get it.
I think that if they hadn't suffered like that, they wouldn't be the inner circle that we know and love.
Right, and they wouldn't be the great people. Right. I get it. I just hated reading it. It's cringy to hear that a note was nailed to Moore and that Cassian was this fucking kid in a tent in the freezing cold. When they get to the Illyrian war camps and Feyre is explaining how cold it is, I just cringe for Cassian being out there by himself and just so sad.
And Azriel being burned and stuck in a cage and only let outside once a day. He couldn't even fly.
Yeah, that's so sad.
For a long time. I know.
Yeah. I just hated reading those parts, but
I know. They all had shitty childhoods, but as adults, they get better once they off their parents, basically. We're just waiting for Moore to basically off her parents, and then they'll all be without them.
Yeah.
They're also 500 years old as well, so something shitty's going to happen to them.
That's true.
At some point.
Yeah.
They're immortal.
Right. Absolutely. And I get it's like you said, they had to be sort of damaged to really be who they are and to fit the story. So I totally get it. It's just sad. I don't dislike anything about this book, really. Yeah. So I have to pick something that I just cringed reading.
Yeah, no.
Which had to be.
If you had to pick something.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly.
I know. But that's why Feyre fits in so well with them, because she's bruised and broken and battered, and they're like, hey, yes, you are, and we'll accept you for how you are, but look how you can thrive even though you've been broken, battered.
Yeah, and Feyre kind of realizes that through the whole book, too. If all of these great people can go through these things, she even says she wants her sisters to meet Moore because Moore has been through so much and she's still this great person. So I get it. I definitely get it.
Yeah.
Needed, for sure.
Yes.
So, Megan.
Yes.
Tell us what your
Yes.
favorite part of ACOMAF is.
Chapter 54.
Yes, that's my answer too. Chapter 54.
The entire sequence of chapter 54, from her letting him into the house to the mention of the mating bond and the female having to give the male something to eat, and she's like, well, I don't cook, dude, but I'll give you some soup.
Yeah.
Which is such a me response, because I don't really cook, but I'll heat you up some soup. Hearing just how far back his memories of Feyre are, and how his need to find her, the reason for, there you are, I've been looking for you.
I know.
Like,
I know.
What? And then her just at the end of all that story going, you love me? And him just nodding, and then her just putting the soup down and going, well, then eat. Just such classic Feyre, that they still stayed so true to themselves in that emotional, deep moment, but they were still the same Rhysand and Feyre that we love.
I loved 54 so much. And I loved that he pushed that thought back to her, and that's why she painted the night sky, and she still was so confused and then thought maybe this was her destiny and she just knew it, but really it was him that pushed the thought to her. I love that he tugged on that bond because he didn't want to lose her when they were under the mountain after she had broke the curse. And it's just so beautiful. It's so perfect.
Yes, and I love seeing Rhysand, the Rhysand that we see through Feyre's eyes, and that mask being off, and him being so vulnerable that he literally is crying.
Yeah.
Because that's how much he loves her. And it's like, I want someone to love me that much. It
just be vulnerable with me.
It just like made my heart so happy reading that.
Yeah.
Chapter, not just for the literary genius work of art that it is, but just to see how much someone can love someone so unconditionally and so, I don't even know.
Like before you even meet them?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I just will never be able to say enough good things about that chapter and how much it just has really touched my whole life.
Yes. Megan does not ever go on a date unless she sees Rhysand potential. I'm just kidding. I made that up.
Oh, I still need the touch her and die trope in my life.
Yeah. That's funny. All right, Megan. What was your least favorite part about ACOMAF?
I can't decide. Okay. Obviously, Tamlin locking Feyre in the house is such a big moment in this story, and it was devastating. I felt Feyre's panic reading it the first time, reading it the second time, and then I've listened to the graphic audio version and I played it for you, and it's just so intense where you hear her just like
it's traumatic,
breathing so heavily and feeling that panic that I felt reading it. It just made me feel so physically sick thinking that he could do that to her with all the trauma that she's had. Yeah. And then, I guess, and also Nesta and Elaine being forced into the cauldron was my second, I guess they're equal in my dislike. Yeah. My disgust for the lack of consent and the men in this story who think they can just do whatever they want. Yeah, but Elaine being shoved in first, I literally had tears. Nesta is just screaming in the background. Even Tamlin knew, like, this is fucked up. And if Tamlin thinks something's bad at this point, like, it's horrific.
Literally.
And then...
Wait, Ianthe is the one that brought them there.
She sold them out to the queens.
She sold them out to the queens. There. Okay.
Yeah. And then Nesta being shoved in. I mean, I loved that she fought the whole way down to the point where before she's shoved under, her last thing to be shoved under is her finger that she's pointing right at the King of Highburn, and that I'm gonna fucking get you and you're done. And then her just taking more power than was necessary out of the cauldron.
I just fucking thought of a prediction though.
What?
Nesta kills the King of Highburn.
That is a great prediction.
Because I honestly forgot about the pointing thing until you just brought it up, but damn. Is she gonna fucking get the king?
Maybe.
She might.
There could
She's
be
a badass
it
too.
Could be a group effort between multiple people.
True.
I don't know.
True.
There's a lot of people that it could be.
Yeah.
But no, that was definitely like one of the parts I didn't expect, and
Yeah, that was devastating.
It was devastating for Feyre, for Elaine, who her whole life is the Lord Grayson and who hates fairies. And now she has this iron band engagement ring on and she's high fae. Just her life is over. They're dead, basically. Like everything that they made them is gone because they hated the fae. Whereas I think Feyre was a little bit more tolerable from the beginning, even though she can say she hated them. But I
feel like she just wanted to go home. She didn't care about them.
Feyre is more open-minded, I think, than the other two sisters. And I don't know. Yeah, I'm just devastated for them. It breaks my heart. Yeah, I think they've already had such a shitty life, and now they have this on top of it when they didn't want it. I mean, not that Feyre asked for it either, but she went back into Perithian to save Tamlin and knew she could die. Where they said, we don't want to go into Perithian, we're going to stay here in the Mortal Lands. They were taken against their will, and now they got turned into high fae by the fucking cauldron and the King of Highburn.
Wild. I still can't believe that.
I know.
Fucking crazy.
I go, get ready, because these last sets of chapters, it's like from 54 on, it's just, like you said, this whole book is full of action-packed things. But from 54 on, it's really hit after hit after hit after hit after hit.
Literally.
Like, so many revelations coming at you all at once. You're like, whoa, hold on. Oh my God, what is happening?
Yeah. That was literally my reaction. I was like, what? I had to ask you.
Yeah.
Did that just happen? And you're like, yeah. And I'm like, wait, did that just happen? You're like, yeah. I'm like, holy shit. There's so many things fucking happening.
I know. It's crazy. What was your least favorite part?
I also agree with you about Feyre getting locked in the Spring Court, locked in the castle.
Yeah.
But I think the one that tops it for me is the fucking Ators taking over Valaris. Yes, it was an epic battle scene. And of course, our inner circle comes out on top. But it was just so sad for me that their secret was out to the world now.
Yeah, and people died in the city.
Yeah. And they just obviously didn't have anything to defend themselves because they've never been attacked before. So
the city's like tarnished. So it was so innocent.
And I know they rewarded it and everything, but I don't know. I feel like once the secret's out, the secret's out.
Yeah, it will never be the same.
Right.
As it was. And that's so sad.
Yeah, that's so sad. That what I would have to say is my least favorite part. Valaris has been revealed. Yeah.
And Rhys's safe place, the inner circle's like safe haven, the court of dreams.
The one place that Feyre felt comfortable walking around by herself is now tarnished. I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens with Valaris in the next book.
Yeah.
I also miss Alice. I hope we get more of her in ACOWAR.
Well, yeah, I think we'll see Alice again now that we're back in the Spring Court.
Yeah.
But I wish we could just take Alice with us when we go to the Night Court. I wish that when she basically told Mor at the beginning of ACOMAF to take care of Feyre, that Mor was like, you're coming with us because you're one of the good ones.
Yeah. I wish she did too. And maybe she'll end up there.
I mean, I think, though, she still has that, I don't know if she has blind loyalty to Tamlin because she didn't like what she saw, for sure, about what was
obviously, because she let Mor take her.
But, Tamlin did save her nephews from Amarantha, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like she feels a debt to him that can never be repaid.
Which is actually interesting because now that I'm thinking about it, she knew Mor took her and didn't tell Tamlin where she was.
I know. I wonder what happened with that scene. I think they just assumed that Rhysand came in and stole her. But if that was the case, he would have marched in because they had to have known it was Mor that came in.
How, though?
I guess, like, other people, like, other guards and stuff probably said it wasn't Rhysand because I have to imagine that if Tamlin even suspected that it was Rhysand that came and picked her up and walked out of there, that he would have had his armies marching towards the Night Court.
That's true, too, and maybe they don't even know who Mor is because she's been in Valaris for 50 years.
I think they know who Mor is, but they probably just said the blonde female came and took her, whatever, and then Tamlin was like, oh.
Well, not them. I know they know, but I'm saying Alice. Maybe she didn't know who Mor was.
Yeah.
I like to just think she was being loyal to Feyre, but it's a possibility.
Yeah, I'm sure Alice just kept her mouth shut. She probably just was like, oh, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Something happened.
She's like...
She was here and yelling, and then she was gone. I don't know.
Wait, Feyre's gone?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
One less thing for me to do.
Yeah, literally.
But no,
all right.
I wish we could take Alice with us because I love Alice.
I know. I love Alice and I miss her. That's the one thing I'm looking forward to going back to the spring court is seeing Alice again.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I have to agree with you on that. The only reason I'm excited to go to the spring court in ACOWAR is because that court is going down. We're going to fight and take it down from the inside, and Feyre's going to be such a badass, and I just can't wait for you all to see it unfold.
Yeah, I feel like this war now is between spring court and night court. I don't even think the king is fucking involved anymore.
Oh.
I know he is, but it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
Feels like it's just going to be spring court and night court, but
yeah, I would say like the first kind of part of the book again is like spring court, and then it goes on to like the planning, and then it's like the war.
Yeah. ACOWAR. I knew there was going to be war, you know? Yes. That was clever, Sarah. That was very
so
clever. Very clever, certainly.
Certainly.
All right. So, same thing as we did last Final Thoughts episode of ACOTAR. I'm going to go through all of my predictions that I made for all of our episodes.
On them.
Yes, and now Megan can throw her 2 cents in here. During our last Final Thought episode, I did make some general predictions for ACOMAF. So, I thought Rhysand was going to fall for Feyre, and she was going to be forced to choose between him and Tamlin.
Yeah, I mean, that basically came true. She did have to choose between them, but I think it was more of an easier choice than maybe you suspected it would be.
Yeah, definitely. I think she was going to struggle, and I think she did, you know. She felt guilty late, and she was still calling herself a traitor, so...
Yeah.
You know, it's like fucking 400 pages of denial there, but, you know.
These relationships move fast in Prythian.
I know. I guess so. They have forever, and they act like they don't.
That's very true. Maybe with the upcoming war, they're like, we need to make our decisions fast and fall in love and have our happily ever afters before we die.
Yeah, that's true. I guess that does add like almost a human aspect to it, that they're immortal, but they could die.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee you're going to live forever.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So I also thought that the King of Hybern would make an appearance as our next villain. He actually does make an appearance at the end.
Yeah. So, he's the last thing you see basically before the book ends. He's the last bad guy you encounter besides Tamlin coming back into the picture, and who knew he was going to be an actual villain, right? You just think he's this asshole guy, but no, he is like a King of Hybern flunky, whether he really wants to or not. He made that choice.
Right, exactly. I did predict that the mortal world wasn't going to be safe from the King of Hybern, and that Feyre's family, or her sisters, I guess, I thought her dad too, at this point, would come and live in the spring court for safety.
You were so close. The prediction was there. Close. They are obviously High Fae now living in the night court for, I guess, continued safety after they've been dunked into the cauldron against their will. Yeah, and they have to navigate their new life and consider all the consequences of them becoming High Fae.
Yeah, I was close. I also thought that Lucian and Nesta, which we already kind of talked about earlier, but I fucking made that prediction before we read the book too. So that was a mind fuck when Elaine ends up being his mate at the end.
Oh, and I have so many thoughts about this, but not yet.
Okay, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, it'll give you something to be like, what did she mean? And then you have to listen to all the way through to Silver Flames to know what I mean.
Yes, that's good. That's good, Megan. I like that. All right, after reading part 1, and these parts mean like our parts for our episode, so I don't want anybody to get confused when I start talking about part 4 and they're like, there is no part 4, but part 4 of our episodes, So after part 1, I thought that Feyre would become the first fucking High Lady of Prythian. Let's fucking go.
And she technically is the first High Lady of the Night Court, and there's no other High Ladies in Prythian, so she is the first High Lady of Prythian. She doesn't rule over everybody, but maybe one day, I don't know.
Maybe one day. I just knew she was going to be a High Lady. Mm-hmm. And I love that they even have a conversation. Is it in chapter 54 or maybe 55, about how Rhysand's like, it would be nice to call you my wife and it would be nice to do this. Yeah. And then they don't even talk about her being a high lady at that point, I don't think.
Yeah.
So it was it was a nice shock at the end.
Yeah. So you know that Rhysand has always thought of Feyre as equal. And so I kind of figured that he would make her his high lady. Yeah. But it's just really surprising how they did it in just for them and for their eyes only. I just really loved that private, intimate moment that they had the night before everything went down.
Yeah, they make this secret plan together. So cute.
I know. They're just this cute little team.
A little team of equals. I love it.
Team of equals.
Equality. I love it.
Yeah, I just love the respect that he gives her.
And I know.
The choices he lets her have. And I know that's really sad to think of when that should just be normal. That shouldn't be him setting the bar so high that it's shocking to us.
I know.
For her. He's just, doing what everybody should be doing.
Exactly. It should be way more normalized than we're making it out to be. But
I know. Maybe one day.
Maybe one day we'll get there. I also thought that there wasn't going to be a wedding with Feyre and Tamlin, which I was right about.
Yep.
When Feyre goes back to the spring court, she's going to say that Rhys fucked up her mind. I'm a genius.
You're so good at it honestly is really hard sometimes to not react in a shocked way. I know I said this the last time and I will continue to say this. It is so hard to sit here looking at you while we're doing these recordings and literally hide it from you. It almost is thankfully we're not in the same room together.
I know.
And even though we have talked about filming in the same room together, but at least I have this separation from you that you don't see the sweat really dripping off my face trying to keep this in.
Yeah, I love that. But wow, how do I fucking know?
Because you're a genius.
I'm a genius. No, but honestly,
you're a genius.
Know. I
think you're really good at just picking up clues in the story and then applying them to the situations at hand.
Yeah, you're right. I literally am a psycho and just think everything's foreshadowing and then I just end up being...
Yeah, so when we read together, I'll be reading or she'll be reading. She'll be like, foreshadowing. Yeah. And I'm like,
Yep, that's me.
I'm going to really enjoy when we read Onyx Storm together because
oh my God.
I won't know either what's going on in the story. And it's just going to be fun to make predictions together, but to see how many you get right. And I'm still going to be like, oh my God.
Oh my God, I know. But you can make some too.
Yeah, no, I did make some during Iron Flame that I was right about, so I was really happy about that. So, no, I'm really excited to read a book that we haven't done.
I know.
I haven't read.
Yeah, I know. We have a few more books to get to before we get to Onyx Storm. By the way, if we haven't told you yet, we're doing Fourth Wing next.
Well, no, not necessarily. We are doing a little rom-com, I think.
Yeah, we're going to get a palate cleanser in there.
After all of the ACOTAR books are done, do a little palate cleanser and then go into Fourth Wing.
Yeah, because we want to, line up Onyx Storm coming out so that everybody's reading it for the first time when they watch our podcast. So hopefully.
It'll be so exciting. And at one point,
spread the word.
I really do want us to do a Fate Inked in Blood. I think that is another epic book that I've heard. It's really good and I haven't read it. We haven't read it yet. We both own it.
We both have it.
So there's so many books that we have that we're just dying to do. So
I know. I think after we cover the two big ones, ACOTAR and Fourth Wing, we should just do a bunch of little ones that we have.
Yeah.
Fantasy, rom-com, thriller, whatever. Yeah. Whatever we have. It'll be fun.
We're a lover of all books.
We are. But we do not discriminate.
But we have to do our favorites first, obviously.
Absolutely, yeah.
Tangent.
Yeah. I did make a prediction about Ianthe having something to do with the murders of the other high priestesses. We don't really find out if she's involved in that yet, though.
Yeah, I don't know if she is. obviously we know she's involved with the King of Hybern,
Right.
which is later down in your predictions.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know if she had anything to do with that or if that was just circumstantial that they died because he needed to get the bottom parts of the cauldron.
But like, how did they know
where
that they were
the feet
guarded
were?
there? Yeah.
Probably from my Ianthe.
Yeah, that's why I do think she still had some involvement, even if she just tipped off the king.
Yeah.
Because she would know she's a high priestess. I'm sure they only tell the high priestesses
Yeah.
what's in their temples, you know?
Yeah. Bitch is going down.
Bitches better be going down. I can't with her. I hate her.
Yeah.
She's
Hated her
only
from
on
the
the
beginning.
pages for maybe 20 pages tops, but all right. So after reading part 2, I did think that the stone that Amren gave to Pharaoh was fucking fake to distract her, just to be able to go into the prison, and I was right.
You were right.
Damn.
Again, I was like, that's so interesting, Amanda's come out.
Yeah. And then the best prediction of all time also came out of this part, which I think was even better than the riddle, like I said in part 5.
Yep.
That Feyre and Rhys are already a mated bond. Awesome.
Yep.
I couldn't guess exactly how it happened, and now I know why, because it happened before they even fucking met. So
the potential for the bond was already there.
Exactly, yeah. And then it clicked when Amarantha snapped his neck and she became High Fae, right?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Like, he knew she was his mate, but it didn't, like, really click into place until then.
Right, until she was officially High Fae.
Yeah, until he could sniff
Which
her.
actually happens with Lucian and Elaine. Too.
Because you can see that, okay, this is where it gets complicated for me because I don't know how I really feel about this. But when that whole scene is going on, before Elaine gets dunked in the cauldron, Lucian is very concerned about both Nesta and Elaine, but he seems more towards Elaine than Nesta because Nesta's probably scaring the shit out of him. Yeah. But he tries to really prevent Elaine going into the cauldron, and when she comes out and they look at each other, they make direct eye contact, and he's like, "You're my mate." I still have a hard time believing that it's real, but I guess.
Is she gonna accept? I don't know if she'll accept it.
Yeah,
that ain't happening.
Definitely doomed love.
Doomed love for sure.
But yeah, it's kind of the same thing when Elaine dies, I guess, going into the cauldron. It kind of snaps into place for Lucian. But we'll see if that's real or not. I don't know. Yeah. I guess it is.
We'll see.
It's real until it's not, I guess.
Well, it's real until she accepts it or not, I guess.
Yeah.
So, I guess we'll see.
We're on a ...
Yes, we're on a ... After reading part 3, I did think something was up with the Lord and his son that's set to marry Elaine. But now I'm like, holy shit, it wasn't even him. It was that Elaine was going to be High Fae. And that's going to be the dilemma.
Yeah.
So I was wrong about that one.
Yeah, but you knew.
I could be wrong sometimes.
You kind of knew that they weren't going to be together, I guess, in your prediction.
I knew it wasn't going to work out.
Yeah.
But I did not know that it was because she was going to be turned to High Fae. Yeah. That was like,
you never suspected that both of them are going to be High Fae.
Never.
You actually thought that Elaine was going to die.
Yes, I thought Elaine was going to die. I literally was like, oh my God, she's not. Because they were talking about how you have to be strong enough.
Yeah.
And I was just like, Elaine is not the strong one. But I mean, I guess we saw more of a strong side of her in ACOMAF.
Yeah, I think she's stronger than we think.
Yeah. Agreed.
Or she's willing to show.
Exactly, yeah. Or that, when she was poor, she really was just traumatized and in her freeze mode. She had her delusions. She was like a delicate little butterfly in ACOTAR, so...
Yeah, but I think she knows exactly what she's doing. Like, she's definitely the most social one. You can see her at the ball, flirting with all the important men and making them feel like they're important. And she knows how to work a room. She knows exactly what she's doing. I feel like we underestimate Elaine, and I think that there's a lot more to come from her. And I actually would love to see her have, like, a villain story. Honestly, I would love to see that. Obviously, there's been no indication of that, really. Yeah. But I would love to see her be like the next villain and be like, oh my God, you thought that I was this weak like thing that to underestimate. I don't know.
Wild.
Yeah,
that would be wild.
To see Elaine be evil.
Yeah. So Another prediction I made in part 3 was Cassian and Nesta. I feel like there's definitely foreshadowing there. Now she's high fae, so she's gonna be in the night court with him. Whoa.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good showdown, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I still see that happening. My last prediction for part 3 was that Tarquin was gonna find out that they wanted the Book of Breathings, whether it was that Feyre was gonna tell him or she was gonna get caught, and she gets caught.
Yeah. They set off all the alarms in the building when they're stealing the book. Yeah.
I feel like this one wasn't even fair for me to say that I'm right about it, because I think it's just so obvious that a magical, mystical heirloom, whatever, that is guarded for the last 500 years, that Amryn even mentions no High Lord has even been in that chamber of the Summer Court.
Yeah.
There's no way they're getting out of there without setting off an alarm or two. Like, there was no way. There was no way. I didn't believe it. So I knew either way she was going to be telling Tarquin or she was going to get caught. So I won't even count that as that I'm right, because I feel like that's kind of an obvious one.
It was a given.
It was a given, yeah. After reading part 4, I thought that Feyre was going to get a set of wings, even though she hasn't flown yet. So we don't know if she can do that.
Yeah, but she did grow them.
But she grew them to intimidate Lucian.
Yeah, she was like, poof.
She's like, I got my powers unlocked, bitch.
Oh, yeah. It had to have scared the shit out of Lucian to see how powerful Feyre actually is. And I feel like that's probably why he actually didn't want to be in Hybern that day. Because he's like, Tamlin, you don't understand. Like, Feyre is powerful.
Yeah, and she threatened to kill them all.
And I feel like Tamlin is just so stupid. I know he's stupid. But Feyre literally unlocks the spells in that room. Not once, but twice. And he's still just like, oh, she's just this weak little Feyre who doesn't know anything. It's like, what? Like, how delusional are you actually?
Yeah, he has to be fucking delusional. Even Lucian realizes it at the end.
Yes. Lucian knows it before they even walk in that room. He's like, be careful, Tamlin. Stop, Tamlin.
Yeah.
I wish Feyre put him on his fucking ass in that room. And, I mean, he still wouldn't have believed it. She could, she could literally win a battle with Tamlin, and he still would be like, do you just want to paint? I have some paint sets for you.
Yeah.
He's insane.
I would love to see him try again to lock her up.
Yeah.
I would love it. I hope she fucking locks him up in the next book. I hope she fucking does. Should I make that prediction, Megan?
She doesn't lock him up, but she does do some crazy things.
Oh, I believe it. And I'm ready for it.
Same.
So I also was trying to predict who was working with the king in part 4, after reading part 4. And my top 3 choices were Ianthe, Mor's father, Keir, and the Autumn Court, because of that whole story with Mor and Eris. I guess I was right about Ianthe, even though I thought she was going to be his partner. So she's still kind of working with them, with Tamlin and Lucian, and gives up the sisters. So I'm going to count that as a half right.
Yeah.
And then after reading part 5, I thought that Feyre will end up telling Lucian the truth, or maybe trying to escape and really just give it to him. I know we know that he kind of has an inkling that she's really not fucked up in the mind.
Yeah,
her mind is not really fucked up
of her, and it's like his eyeball can see the truth that she was never under any sort of.
I love
spell.
that you went like this, eyeball.
His eyes,
his eyeball can see the truth. That was amazing.
But he's definitely on to her. You can tell at the end of ACOMAF that he's on to her and he's not buying her bullshit. He's not picking up what she's putting down.
No.
He's not Delulu.
Yeah, no. I think, too, and I didn't write this one down, but I'm going to say it anyway, that the Lord's son that Elaine was supposed to marry, I think is still going to be an issue in this next book for us. And I think he's going to try and kill them still. Kill Elaine. She's high fae. So I think he's still going to make an appearance. There's going to be some kind of...
Well, yeah, there has to be some sort of reunion between the two, because basically she's just disappeared at this point.
Yeah.
Like, where the hell is she?
Right. Yeah, and I feel like once he knows, it's game on. Like, he's going to try and kill her.
Yeah.
But also, this raises the question where I did not guess that the Mortal Queens were going to be working with the King of Hybern because he wants to enslave humans and they are like the queens of the humans. They don't care about that sliver of land. Is that who they're going to have for slaves?
Oh,
Which
like
would be,
that
yeah,
part
it
of
would
the
be the
lands.
Lord and all of them.
Yeah, I guess. I think they are willing to give up a lot of humans for their
Yeah.
immortality and for them to rule forever.
True. So maybe once they're high fae, they won't even care about the humans anymore.
Yeah.
That was a fucking mind blow. I also think, I know you've kind of already confirmed that we don't know this in any of the other books yet, but I do think that Nesta will still be a queen. Or maybe now that she's fae, she'll be a high lady of a territory. So I do think she's going to gain power somehow, some way.
Yeah, I definitely want to second that prediction. I definitely think that Nesta will find her way and that she will be powerful and that she will be some sort of queen or high lady. I do really think that.
Yeah, because all high fae have power, right?
Yeah. Yep. But her power's from the cauldron, so you'll get to see what that looks like in the next book or how it starts manifesting. But yeah, I definitely think that there's been too many references from book 1, even in this book, to Nesta being a queen or in charge of something.
Yeah, she's at the head of the table all the time. And
yeah, I mean, it's not just her having like the oldest sibling syndrome. I definitely think there's something there. And so, yeah, I will definitely put my stamp on. I think that's something of a prediction because I don't know, like you said, but I definitely think that there's something there after me reading all of the books, all of Sarah's books.
Yeah. Every single one.
Every single one.
Megan is a true fan. I'm just still a newbie. I only read 2.
Yeah.
Although I do want to read Throne of Glass, which I'm going to read on the side once we start recording for Fourth Wing, because I've already read Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. So
yeah, and then we got to get you reading Crescent City.
Yes. I got to get through frickin' 9 books first. Oh, it's 8 books, actually, right? 8 books. Got to get through 8 books of Throne of Glass.
All right, I have some questions for you.
Okay. Hit me with your questions, Megan.
Okay, number 1. How do you think Feyre is going to fare in the Spring Court when she's there undercover? And what do you think she's going to do to Tamlin?
What do I think or what do I wish? I'm just kidding. I think she's going to get a lot of information for Rhysand. Mm-hmm. They're going to be constantly talking, do their mind bond. Mm-hmm. I think something's going to happen where either she gets fed up and wants to leave or try to escape, or they're going to figure it out and try and not kidnap her because she's there, but try and lock her up again. And she's going to just go apeshit on them. I don't think Tamlin will die, although I want that to happen. I don't think it will.
Yeah.
After your little hint that you still like Lucian, I think he's going to play a role in defending Feyre at some point while she's there. I don't know if it will be fully defending her or kind of just being like the peacemaker in the middle.
Yeah.
But I do think he's going to kind of have her back a little bit at least while she's there. Give her the benefit of the doubt, even though he kind of knows what's going on. I think he's going to play along with her, you know?
Yeah. Do you think Elaine and Nesta's personalities are going to change at all now that they're high fae?
No. I think Nesta's still going to be a bitch, but also queen-like. And I think Elaine will still be the mediator, middle child syndrome.
Okay.
I really don't. I think maybe the power, I know you want Elaine to be a villain, but
I don't know. I just think it would be so epic.
Yeah, it would be epic. It definitely would be. I think she might actually fall for Lucian, even though I want to puke right now saying that. But like maybe they do fall in love.
I don't know, maybe.
And will she want to stay in the Spring Court? This is all fucking with my brain.
Yeah, I know. She definitely doesn't seem like the kind of gal that wears night court colors.
No, definitely not. And I think you were saying this, it might not have been on a recording, but I remember you telling me that there is a connection with Elaine and the flowers, and she loves to plant flowers, and her, you know, her nightstand had all the flowers and the sun, like the Spring Court, so.
But Lucian is a son of the autumn court.
Of the autumn, yeah. So I feel like she does belong in the Spring Court, but why, Megan?
I don't know. I actually don't. I'm waiting for that answer myself.
I feel like she kind of would be, the girl for Tamlin.
Yeah, she would be perfect for Tamlin,
because
actually.
she's not going to try and fight. She's going to be the housewife.
Yeah, she likes to cook. She likes to plant flowers. She likes to just be at home.
She'd be chilling, smelling the flowers all day and be okay with it. She'll be happy with it.
Yeah. If we could match Tamlin up with anybody, it would be Elaine.
Yeah. Interesting.
And who do you think is going to be the one to have the final showdown with the King of Hybern? Or do you think that it's a ... at the end of this book?
I don't think he dies in the next book. I think he's going to be our villain throughout. Because I know there's more books, but I feel like he does have to die. Like, he's not going to be the last villain. Although I did mention that I think Nesta's going to be the one to kill him already.
You did say that.
So that is really my first thought.
Yeah. But you keep thinking about it. Maybe you can update us throughout as we read ACOWAR.
Yeah. I feel like the war is gonna be mostly between the Spring Court and the Night Court now. Like, it's gonna be over Feyre. That's just my intuition
that's
is telling
kind of how
me.
the book ends but I guess we do know the King of Hybern is readying his armies and he's ready to march into Prythian and he's ready to break that wall down with the cauldron now that he sees that.
And I think it's totally still going to be a thing in this next book, but I don't know. Her being back in the Spring Court is not going to end well. There's going to be some tension between Night and Spring in this next book. She's going to make it back to the Night Court, I think. She's not going to be in the Spring Court this whole book.
I'd stab myself, Amanda.
Yeah, I know. You would be like, fuck this book, we're skipping it. So
I'm like, on to Silver Flames.
She'll be like, I'm just going to ruin this one for you. And she's there the whole time. So let's move on.
We're skipping that. Bye.
We're skipping that. See you later.
I can only handle Tamlin for a couple hundred pages. Not even.
Yeah. So I think she's going to make it back to the Night Court. So we don't have to worry about that. Do you have any more questions? I like this game. I like questions.
I know. Actually, one final question for you.
Okay.
What surprised you the most about ACOMAF?
Okay. What surprised me the most about ACOMAF? Chapter 54, for sure.
It surprised me again, and I already knew what was going to happen.
I know. You were so excited. We've been reading, by the way, together.
It's just more fun.
It is more fun. I love it. And it's so fun to see your reaction and to like actually react, because sometimes when I'm reading it to myself, I don't physically react. Yeah. But when you read it to me, or if I'm reading it out loud, like I physically am like, what the fuck? Like, how did that even happen? Crazy.
Yeah. No, I know.
So it is definitely fun. Yeah.
And it's actually great because I read the book, obviously, and then I listened to it. And so this is my second time reading it. But it's just so wild that I can still feel the same emotions that I felt the first time, the second time, and now the third time reading these words. Like, insane.
And there's more that surprised me, not just chapter 54, but that was definitely a big one.
Yeah.
I was not expecting to see Lucien and fucking Tamlin with the King of Hybern. I was not expecting that at all.
I wish you could have seen my reaction the first time reading it. I was like, what? Like out loud screaming. Yes.
Honestly, I'm pissed that I didn't figure this out, because as soon as I saw it, I thought about the fucking foreshadowing line that Rhysand says. Like, Tamlin will go through to any lengths to get her back. Yeah. And like, that was such good foreshadowing. Oh, it was. How did I miss that one?
I know.
But like, wow. I just never expected it.
I know.
Because he hated the king when his dad was working with him. He
still hates the king.
Yeah.
It was just so desperate and delusional that he thought that this was the only way to go about it. And of course, you know, Ianthe was in his ear that this was the best way, that this is what he should be doing, and he needs to save Feyre at any cost.
Yeah. That was just wild.
Because we know that Ianthe wants the high priestesses to be ruling the kingdoms or the courts, not the high lords.
Oh my god. Hopefully she doesn't make that deal with the fucking king to wipe out all of the high lords. All right, what else? Oh my god, yeah. Even that the mortal queens were working with the King of Hybern. I could not even believe that.
Well, we definitely knew something was up with them when the Golden Queen says, "Don't trust them. The Sixth Queen wasn't
ill or something."
Wasn't ill, yeah.
Yeah. I thought about this. I think I made a prediction.
I think you said it to me.
Yeah,
anyways.
I just knew. Yeah, I knew that it wasn't going to be good that they showed the Queen's Valeris. But I did not think they would tell the King of Hybern. I thought maybe they would use that kind of as a defense later in the story when he went after the humans. Like, oh, we know information that can help you destroy the Night Court. And then he stops going after the humans, at least for a minute or whatever. Like some kind of bargaining chip, I thought, would come out.
They just want immortality because they're greedy.
And they want immortality, like wild.
Well, they can already winnow, so it's like they already have power, but it's not unlimited power, and that's what they want.
Yeah, and I'm sure they have more.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have some kind of defensive power, too.
I wonder if they could always winnow, or if that's a gift that the King of Hybern gave them recently, because he does say that he's the one that made their palace impenetrable or whatever.
He's the one that did it.
Yeah, because remember that's why he was like, I tricked you, Azrael, like whatever, blah, 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 when he was like showboating.
Yeah, because we even were like, how did they not know? They were there helping the mortals.
Yeah.
Wow. So maybe it was never a gift. But then, yeah, because Moore would have known that they could winnow. She was friends with the ancestors.
Yeah, so I wonder if that's another gift from the King of Hybern.
Yeah, that's very true, Megan. Good catch. Good catch.
And you see, I've read this 3 times. And you still find something new to pick up on.
I know. I'm not a rereader, but I get it.
We need a whiteboard with all our lines drawn, and this connects here, so this is what's going to happen in the next ACOTAR book.
Yeah, wild. So funny. And lastly, I just was so surprised about Elaine and Nesta turning high fae.
Yeah.
Once I saw them dragged in, I didn't think, I knew Nesta would survive if she went in the bath, but I didn't even think Elaine would. And now they're fucking high fae, both of them, which is going to be wild.
I mean, the only nice thing about that is like Feyre will have her sisters forever and she'll never have to watch them grow old and die without her. But it was devastating. I honestly didn't know why they were there. I thought they were going to just be killed, or, that they would save them and they would just winnow them back to Valaris at some point. I don't think even when they showed up, when I read it the first time, that he was going to dunk them in until he says, I'm going to dunk them in there.
Yeah.
And fuck Jurian.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about him in this episode, but I just want to say at the end of this, fuck him.
Fuck Jurian. And I'm not looking forward to getting more info about him.
Yeah. Well,
in the next book.
In the next
book.
of
course we are. I mean, he's back alive.
Yeah. Being a little bitch.
That was actually more foreshadowing that I didn't see. But I mean, that's kind of like impossible to guess. I mean, who would have with thought? Any kind of magic fantasy, you have no idea where any of the shit is ever going until you kind of at least read a line. But that was kind of foreshadowing in ACOTAR about him, like even learning about the finger and the backstory and stuff. Now, oh my God, every single line would be like, foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing.
Even more than I am now.
Yes.
Yeah, so it was very surprising. I'm still processing, so hopefully I come up with some more predictions before we start reading ACOWAR. Yeah, exactly, yeah. So we'll get there, but loved the book. Amazing. So excited. Yes, Megan's baby, ACOMAF.
I love it so much.
It was really a great book.
First fantasy books I ever read was the ACOTAR series. So
yeah, that makes sense. That's why Rhysand is your first. Your first fictional man.
He was my first fictional man that I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This is sexy, steamy. He's respectful. He's vulnerable. He is everything. I wish he would just pop up behind me.
Oh my God, I know. I wish too for you, because I know how much you love him. And I hope Xaden shows up for me. Sorry, Violet. Sorry. And for those of you that haven't read it, wait to read it with us, because you will not be sorry.
You will not be sorry. Actually, no, I won't show people how delusional I am yet about how many different copies I have.
Oh my God, I know. You would think it was your favorite for how many copies you have.
I know. I don't have any special editions of ACOTAR, mostly just because I never can catch the sales. They get sold out like immediately, and then I don't want to pay thousands of dollars to get the ones that I've seen.
Yeah, no. So, it's not worth it.
Whereas the Fourth Wing ones have been reasonably priced, so I've been able to snag a couple of those.
Yep. And we both got the special edition for Onyx Storm pre-ordered.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
As you can probably see, is I do love my special editions. So
yes, Megan is a book collector.
Up there. Yeah.
She will have the same story in many different formats.
Yes. As long as they're like reasonably priced, and I don't know what reasonable means to you, but it's probably different for everybody. Yeah. As long as I'm not going to take away from my bills that month, I will probably purchase it if I've been obsessed with the book. Like I literally have up here, just even for romance, like the off-campus series, I have the new covers here, but then I have a special edition here, and then I have the old original covers in my room.
Wow.
That's 3 copies of the same book.
Of the same series, not even just the same book.
Yeah. The whole series.
That's crazy. But we love you for it.
But I decided I'm using for Fourth Wing, I am using one of my special editions.
Ooh.
That I got. It's not I guess it's not really. It's the first OG Fourth Wing.
Yeah, the one that has the stencil. Oh my God, it's beautiful. I want it.
It's so beautiful. So this is what I'm going to use when we do Fourth Wing.
I only got into Fourth Wing right before Iron Flame came out. So I missed the stenciled one. I have the holiday edition with the black edges, but
I do have that.
I know, we got it together.
I have 2 copies of it, so maybe
I actually got that for you at BJ's, even though you ended up ordering 2 more copies.
2 from Target because we didn't know if we were going to be able to get it. Yeah. So that's a story for another day.
For when we cover.
Yeah, I love special editions and I guess that's the end of the story.
If you guys are interested to see what special editions Megan has, let us know. We'll make a video for you.
I have, just off the top of my head, I have special editions of obviously Fourth Wing. I don't have Iron Flame yet, but I ordered one.
You did? You didn't even tell me that.
Yes, I did.
Oh my God.
The Off-Campus series, I have Zodiac Academy special editions. I have From Blood and Ash. I have Den of Vipers. I have the Twisted Love series and the Kiss Quotient, the Bride Test, and Heart Principles.
So all the books in Megan's background are special editions.
Most of this whole second shelf besides the end is special editions, and then there's some behind me as well. And then
wild.
Yeah. There's some sitting on this desk. There's some over
I'm just happy when I get a hardcover of a book. And you're like, no, I need 6 copies, all different editions.
Just makes me happy because I feel like reading books is a hobby, but then collecting books is also like a separate hobby, and I just happen to like both.
Yeah, same, because I have so many that I haven't read yet, but I'm working on it. I'm working on my TBR.
Yes. Should we announce our next book, even though we've already talked about it?
Yes, Megan, I'll let you do the honors.
We will be reading A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas.
How many pages is this one?
Number 3.
Is it longer? I know you're going to yell at me and tell me not to look at the last page, but...
Don't look at the last page. I'll look. You don't look.
703. I already looked.
No, 699.
Oh.
That was the acknowledgements.
Oh. See? I don't really look at the page. I just look at the number.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you not wanting me to ruin anything.
How much was Mist and Fury?
6 something. 624.
At the end of acknowledgements is 626.
Oh, so it's 624?
So yeah, 624.
I'm so smart.
So it's a little bit longer.
Yeah, a little bit longer.
We already have it planned out.
Yeah.
Episode by episode.
I'm so excited.
It looks like one of my tabs may be missing because that's like a huge chunk. So I'll have to look
Oh
at that.
No, a tab is missing?
Poppy probably stole it because that's like a big chunk. I doubt
No, we
did.
definitely didn't.
That
Yeah, there's no way I can do that in a week. I'll have to quit my job.
Yeah, it must have fallen out. I'll have to look at our
Our schedule.
So it will be chapters 1 through 10 And that will be our episode 14, which is so crazy.
Wow. And that's all we have for you today. I'm so excited to start A Court of Wings and Ruin, book 3 of this series. And we really, really hope you enjoyed this episode. Please let us know what your final thoughts are about ACOMAF and your thoughts on this episode by leaving us a review and comments on any of the platforms you are listening/watching on, or on our social media pages. This helps tremendously to get the word out and lead more listeners to find our show and tune in.
Don't forget to email, follow, subscribe, and rate us 5 stars and tell all your friends about us. And we hope the rest of your day is blissful. Bye!
Thank you so much for listening. Join us next week where we start part 1 of A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas, covering chapters 1 through 10. Happy reading!